Hello everybody! What a beautiful summer's day. Oh, and it's rather hot today, so I've had to look after myself. Look, I've got my sun cream on my skin, I've got my hat on my head, and I'm wearing my sunglasses. Oh, it could be a disguise. I could pretend I'm somebody else. Now the heat of the sun would give me a headache and very red skin if I didn't protect myself. Now, because we're doing heat this week, we've been asked to find out some things about animals that live in hot countries. Now, does anybody know what the name of this animal's called? That's right, it's a rhino, and its full name is rhinoceros. Can you say that really fast? Rhinoceros, 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 rhinoceros. Oh, my tongue got all funny. Oh, right, so let's see. Let's read this book. Let's see if we can see the pictures in the sunshine. Once upon a time, on a lonely island on the shores of the Red Sea, there lived a man. He owned nothing in the world but his hat and his knife and a cooking stove, the kind that you must never touch. Oh, what a beautiful island. And he's laid in his hammock, looking out to the sea with his hat on. And this is his special stove. Some people have things a little bit like this inside, that you put wood on, but really it's a little bit like an outdoor barbecue. You wouldn't touch that, would you? The man was very happy, and he had nothing to worry him except one rhinoceros who lived in the very middle of the island. He had a horn on his nose and two piggy eyes. Hrumph! In those days, the rhinoceros's skin fitted him quite tight. There were no wrinkles on it anywhere. He had no manners then, and he has no manners now, and he will never have any manners. Oh, a rude rhinoceros. Maybe you can find a picture on the internet of a rhinoceros later and see what their skin looks like. This one's nice and smooth. Rhinos don't really look like that. One day, the man took flour and water, there he is, look, currants and plums and sugar and other delicious things, and made himself one big cake. It was 2 feet across, that's about that big, and 3 feet thick. So from the floor, it's quite big. He put it on the stove and he baked it until it was beautifully brown, and it smelled yummy. What a big cake. It's making me feel hungry. Maybe I should do some baking with nuts. The rhinoceros smelled the delicious smell just as the man was going to eat his cake. Along it came. Oh, he's looking at the cake. What do you think's going to happen? In 2 shakes of a tail, the man climbed to the top of a tall palm tree and hid. Oh, look, it's a coconut palm tree. Look, there's coconuts right up at the top. I think he might be feeling really happy about the rhinoceros. No, I think he might be a little bit scared. Rhinoceros are quite big and maybe a little bit fierce. The rhinoceros upset the stove with his nose and the cake rolled onto the sand. Then he spiked that cake on the horn of his nose and he gobbled it all up. Every last crumb. Goodness gracious me, what a greedy rhinoceros. It wasn't even his cake, was it? Then the rhinoceros went away, waving his tail, back to his home in the very middle of the island. There he's going, with his lovely smooth skin. The man came down from his palm tree and cleaned up the mess. And as he cleaned, he thought of a plan. He's scratching his head, look. What can I do about that pesky rhino? As he cleaned, he thought of his plan and he sang to himself, "Them that makes cakes, them which man bakes, them makes dreadful mistakes, who takes them cakes." Oh, look, his stove looks like it might be broken. I think he might be feeling a little bit hungry. A few weeks later, there was a heat wave in the Red Sea, which means it got even hotter than normal, a bit like how hot it is today. It was so hot that everybody took off their clothes. The man even took off his hat. There he is without his hat on. And now I would need my hat on in a heat wave, otherwise I'd have a very bad headache. In those days, the rhinoceros's skin buttoned underneath with 3 buttons. Can you see the buttons? The rhinoceros took off his skin to have a cooling swim in the sea. He's taken his skin off like it's a coat. The rhinoceros did not say sorry to the man for eating his cake. He had no manners then, and he has no manners now, and he never will have any manners. Splash! He waddled straight into the water and blew bubbles through his nose, leaving his skin on the beach. Well, that's a sight. A rhinoceros in the sea with a drink on his belly. And he's got some trunks on, look, like some of the boys would if they went swimming. But the man found the skin and he smiled a big smile. Then he danced 3 times around the skin and rubbed his hands. Can you see the rhinoceros skin on the beach? It looks like a onesie and the man's got a plan. The man filled his hat with crumbs. He had plenty because he never ate anything but cake and he never swept out his camp. Then he took that skin and he shook that skin and he scrubbed that skin and he rubbed that skin. What's he putting in? Oh, he's putting the crumbs in the, I nearly called him a dinosaur, in the rhinoceros's skin. At last it was full of dry, stale, tickly cake crumbs and some bent currants, as it possibly could be. Then the man climbed to the top of his palm tree and waited. Look, he reminds me of a hippopotamus doing that out of a film. He's in a big, like, floaty ring, isn't he? And it's his skin full of crumbs. Doesn't look aware of that yet. The man's gone up his tree. I think he's hiding. When the rhinoceros came in from his swim, he put on his skin and he buttoned it up with the 3 buttons. And it tickled, just like cake crumbs did in bed. Then he wanted to scratch, but that made it worse. Then he rolled down on the sand and he rolled and he rolled and he scratched. Does he look a happy rhinoceros? He looks a bit grumpy. Ooh. Then he ran to the palm tree and rubbed it like I'm rubbing against the back of my shed. Look, oh, my back on the shed. He rubbed and he rubbed and he rubbed himself against it. He rubbed a wrinkle over his shoulders and underneath his legs, and then more and more. Ping! He even rubbed his buttons right off his skin. It spoiled his temper, but it didn't make any difference to the crumbs, so he went home very angry and horribly scratchy. Oh, he looks a bit different. It looks like his skin's changed shape. The man came down from his palm tree and felt quite pleased with himself. He's laughing. I think he's got his own back on the rhinoceros, hasn't he? By making him itchy. From that day to this, every rhinoceros has great folds in his skin and a very bad temper. All because of the cake crumbs inside. And here's the rhino going, hurrah! Oh, what do you think's happening at the end? It looks like the man's happy and he's making him a cake. Do you think the rhinoceros will go and steal the cake this time? So, that's how the rhinoceros got his wrinkly skin, according to somebody called Rudyard Kipling, who wrote some stories a very, 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 very long time ago. Now, it'd be fantastic if you could find a picture and you could maybe draw a rhinoceros. You could draw one sunbathing or one eating a cake. See if he's got wrinkled skin or not. Right, okay, I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.